What's the good word, y'all? It's your boy DKB here. We have some more news on the Haason Reddick front as it pertains to him showing up, or in this case, the lack of him showing up, right? His presence, we haven't seen grace the Jets facility since he signed his Jets contract. So one of the interesting pieces is that it feels like every reporter that's been tapped in with the Jets or that has in some way been connected to the Eagles or the Cardinals or the Panthers or any kind of former team that Haason Reddick has been on, or feels like they have a source within his camp, as we've gotten a lot of these updates, the only thing I can honestly say is that nobody really knows what the hell they're talking about. And if Haason Reddick never really comes forth and kind of speaks his piece to this situation, and I'm not just talking about the tweet with him mentioning don't believe everything you're reading or seeing, whatever it was. But outside of that, I don't think we'll ever truly know the nature of what this issue is if it doesn't get resolved. But we did get some major news, at least in regards to what the final length of his holdout would end up looking like if he doesn't, push the big red button and hit us with the ejectocito and just cause his career quits, right? Now, according to Diana Russini, she mentioned that he's willing to sacrifice everything. Die on his sword was the paraphrase that I saw before reporting to the Jets, right? At this point, this is the craziest game of chicken that we've seen in the NFL since Le'Veon Bell. And I kind of believe it, right? Bell's situation, I feel like, was a little bit different, right? Just because he spent his whole career with the Steelers. Obviously, they knew how vital of a piece he was to the organization. But the value of the running back position, the injury risk as opposed to other position groups and stuff, went a lot into them deciding to, essentially move on from him. Reddick's case is very different, and even when you relate this to this offseason where we've seen other aging players go through this same kind of stalemate, and I'm looking specifically at Matthew Judon here, who even went as far as to quote when he got traded from the Patriots to the Falcons that he's on a new team. There's no equity. There's no, relationship, chemistry, etc. there, and that he really needs to work and show them what he's worth, even though they already intrinsically know his value based on trading for him. And Haason Reddick is completely taking the opposite approach. I built up my value through the NFL. You guys have traded for me. There's nothing left for me to prove. You know what I wanted, you haven't delivered. And I can respect that to a certain degree, just like I can respect Matthew Judon's position, which would reflect better, I think, on everybody, obviously. And I don't think he's gotten a contract to date yet, an extension anyway. So, for those devil's advocate types, is worth mentioning, right? Now, in terms of the timeline that we're looking at here, right? The November 12th, which was the Tuesday following week 10, that is the final date that Haason Reddick can hold out before his contract tolls, right? And in that time, he's going to be begging and praying that a situation breaks for the Jets that can buy him some additional leverage, right? And those situations will be a injury to a top pass rusher, so a Jermaine Johnson, a Quinnen Williams, potentially a Will McDonald, a Takk McKinley, right? Secondly, he would have to hope that performance drags and the defensive line isn't performing as they would need to for the defense as a whole to excel. And we've seen this before, right, where the defense can't really hit home. And even from a pressure standpoint, if they can't necessarily bring the quarterback down, that doesn't happen. And everything else, the coverage from Sauce Gardner and Reed and MC2 and, some of the opportune playmaking ability of guys like Whitehead at the time and Ashton Davis, doesn't matter. We can get picked apart to pieces. And so those two situations, if they occur, especially over a lengthy enough point of time in the season where we should really be all in, could cause Joe Douglas to fold. Now, this could be one of the final and biggest acts of Joe Douglas's tenure, which is why this is more intriguing to me than anything else about actually getting the player onto the field, because this could go down as his final legacy moment with the Jets, that he caved and signed Haason Reddick, and we'll have to see what the end result is, or that he was determined to not get punked by a player, which is also interesting because he was there with the Eagles, within a certain time frame and stuff as well. So it's a very curious situation overall. I mean, for every negative aspect to it, there's always some kind of positive piece that gets thrown into this and makes it really weird. And so I look at like the recent charity event he's doing, for example, where he's still signing Jets memorabilia, and taking pics with fans and having Jets gear on and stuff like that. So it just makes me think, is this, maybe Haason Reddick's decision? Is this more so the agents pressing and saying, we can't cave at this point now, otherwise we just have to settle on, whatever number, you've lost, X amount of dollars, etc. already. Very intriguing, right? This this may be up there with, the likes of finding out why Bill Belichick did us the way he did for me by the time everything's all said and done. But let me know what you guys think. I honestly can see, if nothing, knock on wood, injury-wise happens to the Jets defense, that we wait it out and see if he reports before November 12th or not. But I can see it taking up to the full date. Would Reddick be willing to honestly sacrifice the rest of his career? Because I mentioned this early on, and that's exactly what it's looking like now, is that he could have forced his own hand into retirement at this point. But yeah, man, I don't know. Very strange situation. Let me know what you guys think, though, and I'll catch you again. Peace.